Welcome, everyone, to the Power of Possibilities podcast with myself and Heather MacMillian. And I'm almost laughing at the intro's going. Heather's in the background waving a little magic wand. It's like so timely. And this is a really special episode because with Access, there is a lot of focus and attention this month and next month, really, for suicide awareness and mental health awareness. And one of the greatest hindrances for people really is this thought that we're alone. And one of the
Yeah.
Access specialties is talk to the entities, and truly we're never alone. And as Heather will get into a little bit, we even have these things called teammates. And like, really, what would it take for us to really enter this kingdom of we, recognizing that we could never be alone in the world because we're really just in this plethora of consciousness, and we just have to start to open up to it.
Yeah. I mean, this morning I was walking in the woods, and it's amazing how many energies and entities there, just when we're out in nature, actually desire to gift to us and contribute to us.
Definitely. And I just remembered I have to make this public on my page because I almost forgot. So I'm doing that. And also just, um, well, I guess people missed it, but we just did a whole amazing little taster class yesterday. And maybe some of the things that we talked about in that taster class yesterday could be some of the inspiration today for people who missed it and are all salty now, like, oh, I missed a taster class or whatnot. Like, where would you say for people who, especially people who feel closed off, or maybe this is even better, if you have someone in your life that is in that space of feeling
Mhm.
alone, feeling isolated, how can we start to engage entities perhaps to help that person? Maybe that would be a kind of a fun way to start, because we all have somebody in our life that maybe needs help like that. And like, really, how do we start going about holding the space for them to have a different possibility, including entities?
Yeah. I mean, there have been so many beautiful contributions this month in all of Access Consciousness. I mean, there are facilitators around the world who are gifting free sessions for Suicide Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, free access bars sessions. And a lot of people find that so nurturing that it creates that sense of peace and space like we have in nature. Um, and Dr. Dain Heer did a free big ESB session on Sunday for this, and there were over 11,000 people on that.
11,000. I didn't realize how big it had gotten. And I'm going to post, like, since we're talking about what Dain had brought up, there is on the Access Consciousness website, I'm going to post a link in the comments. There is a whole page with a ton of tools. Find someone near you,
Yeah.
book a free session. It has a video with Dain. It has the information on the ESB. It has like a month-long initiative of free lives. So there's like 5 or 6 free live streams. It's just a really good resource. And I'm going to go ahead and post that in the comments now. And if not for you, share that with somebody that you know really feels alone in the world. And this could be, in addition to this video, of course, like, share our video. But this link is just a whole bunch of tools from Dr. Dain at Access Consciousness. And Dain, when he found Access, he was contemplating suicide. He had
Yeah.
actually picked a date, and he's like, well, if nothing changes by this date, this is when I'm doing it. He already had a plan on how to do it. And it was an ad that actually started to shift him. And this is the mantra of Access. Let me put it up because this is what changed his life. He
Yeah.
saw an ad that said, Access Consciousness, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and a phone number, basically.
Yeah.
And the first time he saw it, he kind of got annoyed at it. And the second time he saw it, he's like, ugh, and he made the phone call, and I got a little bit of information, and they actually came. I didn't know this until the live stream that I just watched the other day. I thought he went to the person, but they actually
Mhm.
came to his chiropractic office, and he's like, I'm in the office that I hated, looking at the ceiling that they hated, in the room that I hated. And with just like a little light touch of the head, all that melted away, and he felt
Mhm.
peace and ease in a place that he hated. And so, like, there's a ton of tools of Access, but whether you choose bars or just to get a little bit of the clearing statement through the live streams, the big thing is just to start choosing
Yeah.
something different.
Yes.
And you can always change your mind once you choose. If it's not working for you, you can choose again. But like, so many people out there, they feel alone, and what's not happening is they're just not choosing something different, even if it's to do even a little thing different that day.
Yeah. I mean, and one thing that you can choose different is what could you choose today that would be truly nurturing and kind to you and your body?
Yes. And I love that you added the body in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was such a big thing for me when I first had my bars run and when I first took my first foundation and, from then on that it was like, wow, what kindness can I be from my body? And what questions could I ask my body? What questions could I ask that I haven't been asking?
Truly. And I have a friend who just recently they had some stuff coming up for them, and the awareness that happened, I actually this was the pivotal moment when I'm like working through with talking with them, like asking questions like what's this really about? And the question came up from the how to become money class. And I said, well, if you didn't have a body, would you need money? And like there was like and it's like, well, what if the point of money, because this person's rather successful at this point but they don't
Uh-huh.
really do much with it, and they're like, well, what if the purpose of the money is to actually do a kindness and be a contribution to the body? And like this whole shift in awareness around, oh my gosh, how many of us don't include the body in what we're choosing? And that is like a huge place where maybe we're feeling so alone because we're even like you're never alone. You have your being and your body. Those are two separate
Totally.
things. You're never alone,
Totally.
just with that. And like what would it take for you to open up the lines of communication, and instead of having the space of the body's betraying me, it's not doing what I want it to do,
Totally.
and really be like working with the body to create and actualize the life that you're looking to have. You're never alone. You're always a team of two at minimum.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And we touched on that last night and I was so glad that we were able to talk about that in the class, the taster class last night for Talk to the Entities, was that our bodies are always trying to give us information. And one of the informations they may be expressing is, hey, you've got beings around you without bodies that are looking to either be cleared or communicate with you or cooperate with you or gift and contribute to you.
Definitely. We just had a couple people commenting. We have Magic Mike joining us saying what else is
Hey,
possible.
yes, what else is
And
possible?
Valerie's been following us for a while. She was just saying that
Hey.
she's been using all the tools, or she's been using. I can't say all the tools. I'm not sure which tool she knows about yet, but all of that comes to me with ease, joy, and glory.
Yay.
And isn't it of why it's what's next? I think we're going with that is one of the questions that you don't ask in Access is the question why. And the reason being is it's like a looping question that gives you another experience of the why. And instead, to her point, it's like you ask what else is possible. And
Yeah.
it's a great segue for a tool. If for anybody who's feeling stuck, or if you know that someone that's feeling stuck that's in that why energy, because that's really what's perpetuating that cycle of them experiencing the same hell over and over again, is to give them the tools to say what else is possible. Replace why with what else is possible. And when you engage the brain that way, even in topographical brain mapping, a question like that that's open ended, your brain starts to says, well, what else is possible? And the next thing you know, you are starting to be in the space of receiving a different possibility in your life. And what else is possible now? Just using that is this like huge upward spiral possibility if you can really just ask that instead whenever you feel stuck in your day.
Yeah. And I mean, all of access consciousness really and one of the major topics I just facilitated foundation this past weekend, so it's really fresh in my mind is the four sources of creation. So if you're really looking to change something, asking a real question of what would it take to change this, what would it take for this to be different or greater, what would it take for this to be easier for me, those are all examples of like real questions. Being in that space of wonder with the universe and out of conclusion can create something totally different. And when you are feeling alone, when you are feeling like there's no sense of hope or possibility, there are four questions that you can play with when you don't even know what question to ask, which is, what is this? What do I do with it? Can I change it? If so, how do I change it?
That is beautiful. And then the other thing to that is being open to the answer coming to you. Because how many
Yeah.
times we've talked about on streams before, we'll put out to the universe for something, and it's like you order a pizza, right? And the pizza guy shows up at your door, and you never open the door. So, like, ask the questions, and then have the space of receiving the answers back, and the answers will come. But a lot of times we ask these questions, and some people I feel from some of the people that I work with, they want change, but they are not open to receiving the answer or what is required for the change because for whatever reason they have a judgment about what their awareness is. So maybe some clearings around getting over, the fear of change. That's really what I feel it is because a great example, the ego, it only knows things on past data. And your ego will let you relive the worst day of your life over and over again because it knows you survived it. When you're from an infinite being, we are asking questions in the space of possibility of the future. And the ego's like, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know if you're going to survive it. And like we have this mechanism built into us that makes us shy away from the possibility. But it's all because we just, it's based on past data and not, just we're conditioned that way to not want the change. So maybe a clearing around that.
Yeah, I mean,
and then you can use a magic wand.
Exactly. I was searching last night the last time I facilitated Talk to the Entities over Halloween, I did buy a fancy witch hat and I bought party favors for everyone, like wands and stuff like that. So I was searching for the witch hat and I ended up finding this cool wand. And although I didn't bust it out last night on the Zoom, so it's here today.
Well, you could have totally busted it out. And just a segue, like the link right below the video here, emergencybeing.com/possibility, there is just a list of all the things coming up with Heather. And the Talk to the Entities class on Halloween weekend is what is like the I've already taken the class once. I'm a little bit biased. It's amazing. And I'm also a classically trained medium. I studied at Lilydale for 2 years, and I look at Talk to the Entities as a modern contemporary approach to speaking with spirits and doing like mediumship work without a lot of the dogma and a lot of the fear-based stuff that might come up. And I'm not saying Lilydale taught anything fear-based, but we do have a lot of points of view about how long it takes to get good at it and like what it like not being necessarily the biggest being in the room. And Talk to the Entities from Access really just kind of streamlined it, and it's really something. I enjoyed it anyway. But I am a little bit and Valerie just says, I love your wand. Absolutely. And the wand is like the representation of the clearing statement because we say that's like a magic wand that just wipes out all the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. And now the clearing.
Yeah. Well, and there was so much there in what you just said, and I'm really grateful for that. And what's so cool too, just to mention, is that in the couple years since that last Talk to the Entities class in Cleveland, the class has really changed. It's been totally rewritten, and there's even whole new topics that are in there in this whole magical realm of cooperating with entities to explore in that class. So it's going to be juicy. And we'll come in costume. At least I will.
Well, for the intro class, so like because here's the thing with Talk to the Entities, like there's one prerequisite class. So what we've done is we have like an intro class, which is standalone on like Thursday night when Heather comes in. And then for people who need the prerequisite, there's Friday, but we're going to for sure do dressing up on the Thursday night. Oh yeah. We can dress up all the time. I already have part of my costume. Awesome. I'm going to go as the Baron from it. Like, and it's like it's like for my necklace, it's like the protector of cemeteries in the African tradition. It's like one of the keepers of the rulers of the underworld in a way. So I have my little top hat already. I just got to get my little trench coat and a little staff. I'll be all good.
Oh, that's awesome. How much fun can we have? Cool. So
and Simon's saying, I will totally come in costume. In fact, we might have the same costume. She's wearing a similar hat to the one that I have. And I didn't realize she had a hat like that. And then I ended up like having the same one, except mine has a little bit of color in it. So yeah, we'll totally be coming in costume. How much fun are we going to have?
Yes. It's going to be a party. And what you asked for clearing around change. So one really broad question that we can always ask about questions is for anything that's not changing or anything we notice we have a resistance to changing is, what question could I ask or be here? What question could I ask or be here that would actually change this? And it seems so simple, like how could that even work? But everything that doesn't allow us to perceive, to know, to be, and to receive the question that would actually open the door to a different and greater possibility and change what we've been refusing to change, can we destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds.
And I love this. I don't know who you are, mysterious Facebook user, because you didn't click the permission to show us, but she's like, will there be candy? And she's asking for Mark. Laugh out loud. Of course, joking.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Mark, I wonder where Mark is. He's usually one of the first people commenting. But wherever you are, Mark, I hope you catch it on the replay. And yes, there'll be candy.
Yes.
Whenever there's an access class, there are some fundamental things that must be present in the class, and that is sugar, salt, and water. So I always have a plethora of drinks and Cokes and candy. And oh, it's Dr. K. Dr. K, you're asking about candy. Shame on you. but
Candy's my favorite food.
I know. And it's weird because like every time before one of Heather's classes, like I'm shopping, and like one of the questions I ask when I'm shopping is like, well, what do the bodies of this class require? And I'll find myself buying things like Capri Suns and fruit juice boxes, and I got the little Starburst things last time, which were like totally addicting. And it's amazing, like these things, like you don't realize how much your body starts to really desire certain things when you start opening up to these energies. And it's really important. Any work you're doing, what does my body require? My entire diet changed, and I started asking that question. And on the topic of you're not alone, you and your being, man, you're compadres in this lifetime, right? And like. And some of it, it's kind of like people living in the same house that never speak to each other for a lot of people. And what would it take to truly start to merge these two things and be in communion with the body and really start to be a collaboration together? And then the same thing with all of your unseen spirit helpers around you, your teammates, we call them in Access. What would it take for you to actually start receiving and having a creationship with them, instead of like, them just sitting on the sidelines, just waiting, like, hey, if you ever decide that you're ready to receive, we're here, like that's kind of the energy behind it. And we're just kind of oblivious that we have all this possibility, and we never even ask a question that will let us start to open up.
Yeah. And I mean, just to highlight something you said, like how honoring is it to ask, like when you're shopping, you're talking about that, like what would the bodies actually like? That is so honoring. It's amazing. And even asking simple questions like that every day, I mean, how much more happiness and fun is available for you and your body just by asking those simple questions. Body, what would you like to eat? What would you like to drink? Where would you like to go? Who would you like to talk to?
Truly. What kind of clothes would you like to wear? How would you like to
Yes.
show up in the world? I know, Ryan, he just went to a 3-day body class in Chicago. And ironically, I almost went to that one too. We could have been like bed buddies or whatever. But like he like posted a picture on Facebook and said, this is the first time I've ever asked my body how it would like to show up and how to dress. And he was like in a blazer with a button-down shirt, looked really smooth and elegant, right? And it really, you feel totally different. And I've shared this on the stream before. I was at a store and I said, well, body, what kind of clothes would you like to wear? And I'm the kind of guy who would buy like the $9.99 jeans from Costco or whatever's the cheapest, because it's just clothes, right? And my body's like, these ones. And I'm like, these are $80. It's like, these ones. And so I bought these like $80 jeans. Like I'm thinking I'm insane about it. But then when somebody says, oh my God, thank goodness you're finally wearing fitted clothes. Like they actually fit my body. And it's just like, it sounds silly, but truly your body's the one wearing clothes. Your body's the one eating. Your body's the one copulating. Your body's the one doing all these things. So maybe it would be a benefit to you to get its take on what would be fun.
Exactly. It changes everything.
Let's see. And for everyone, I see quite a few people watching and listening.
Yay.
And so if you are watching and you're not like watching the screen, I do have up there that comments and questions are welcome. So if you do have anything that has come up in your world from something we've said, feel free to ask a question. But I'm going to go the route, because since we're focusing on you're not alone, and specifically kind of people in mind that are stuck in these scenarios, what would be the first thing to do if people wanted to start opening up to the unseen world, into the world of entities? What would be a good clearing or question to start with?
Well, one question to start with would be, what are you and your body aware of that you're not acknowledging? I mean, that was one of the things that I talked about last night, and that for me, there had been beings around me and I just hadn't been acknowledging them. And I had awareness of them. My body had awareness of them. And it was like, hey, this is something to handle. This is something to deal with. Um, and what are we handling and dealing with entities? It's the clearing, communicating, receiving, and cooperating that we talk about in Talk to the Entities and explore in the Talk to the Entities introduction and beginning classes. And my body had been telling me, like, hey, I'm aware of this. You're aware of this. You're just refusing it. So that's one question to really start with is what am I aware of? What are you aware of that you're not acknowledging?
That is a huge question. And for our empaths out there and people who are really aware of other people's thoughts and feelings, this
Yeah.
is the question too. Like sometimes one of my favorite clearings is what are we aware of that we're not willing to acknowledge that the body is acknowledging for us? Because how many of our body
Yeah.
pains, our body aches, our health issues are showing up because our body's giving us this information and we're saying, nope, don't want to know, don't want to know, but the body still knows. And so like
Totally.
what a great contribution would be just to acknowledge what your awareness is, and I can almost guarantee you everybody can make choices that will create more possibilities if they acknowledge everything they're aware of than if they're just choosing blind.
Totally. And I mean, one of the points of view I had before access and, continues um, to change, every time I do more clearing, that every time I change or facilitate a class or take a class, is this idea that we can't handle what we're aware of. And I mean, there was a lot of that energy in the free taster last night of like, if I open up to this, the floodgates will be open, it will be mayhem, it will be havoc. And what if that's not true? What if there is a space and a possibility available now to have all of you, to have all of your awareness? And what if there are amazing tools that can allow you and your body to have ease with all of it?
Definitely. And one of the biggest tools is allowance.
Yeah, totally.
And I will give one example. When I was in my training in Lilydale, the teacher told this one story about someone exiting their body in a very rapid and very violent fashion. And the whole class went, right, and she's like, see right there, just right there, see what you just did, like that we were going into judgment. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. In the space
Yeah,
of allowance, you're just aware of the information and you don't put a charge on it of it being good or it being bad. And that's one of the biggest keys to awareness, and one of the biggest things that we do to stop ourselves from allowing ourselves to be aware is if we enter into judgment, then all of a sudden we're not comfortable knowing. Well, what if you could look at everything available to you in the space of allowance and not having to have a charge on it of right or wrong, good or bad? Sounds kind of like the clearing statement, doesn't it?
it does. It does. And it's funny that's what I got out of taking Talk to the Entities for the first time. And this only expands and becomes stronger and greater, with each access class or Talk to the Entities class, is that space of allowance. It's letting go of judgments or points of view that I didn't even realize I had. I mean, we cover so many different things in the beginning class, and it's like, wow, I didn't even realize that I had some sort of point of view or that I bought some sort of point of view. And what if we could have communion with our bodies? What if we could have communion with earth? What if we could have communion with the spirit world as well?
Yeah, and we do have a question. This is actually from somebody that was on the taster yesterday, and except I lost
Yay.
what tab was I on. So well, we have two questions. So we're going to do this one from Dr. K first. Could you just give a little tidbit on what is learned in each of the classes? I forgot to ask last night. And then the other question, just to
Oh,
bring it
thank
into
you
your
for that.
awareness, if you want to do this one first, because can you write out the clearing statement? I want to start using it.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome.
I will write that up real quick and put it in a comment, or actually, better yet, in the link of this video. I have one thing going back to a web page where there's a video of the clearing
Yeah,
statement and it gives you a little bit more information. So if you want to click that link, you can kind of take a deeper dive into it. But
the
it's right and
clearing
wrong,
statement.
or you just have to like put this video on a loop and just listen to it. Like it's right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. However, you can shorten all that. You can just say pot and pock. That's like a lot of people just pot and pock all day. Everything that is pot and pock. So you don't have to go through a big, long thing of it each time. But anyway, back to Dr. K's question. Could you give a little bit on what we learn in each class? And just to give people context, the classes are coming up. There's the beginning class at Halloween. There is on just September 30th, Creation with Entities, which is like I call it a deep dive class, a money and entities class on 10/13, and then the introduction class, which is a prerequisite. The introduction class is a prerequisite for the 2-day class if you are wanting that. And then, of course, talk to the entities beginning. And then I know we have one specialty class after that, but I don't want to give people too much. But there's more, two more. But these are, you want to talk a little bit about what the focus is on the class, what you might learn, and also it is a deep dive, so you go into more detail on those specific things and what's covered in the 2-day class, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, so for the specialty introductions, it's working with the energy of the topic and how we can engage with the spirit world to create different and greater possibilities. Like with creation with entities, what entities are actually available to play with you and assist you and facilitate you in creating a life you love and enjoy. Money and entities. What entities desire to contribute to you having more ease financially, more ease with money. And with both of these topics, these specialty intros, it really requires that we let go of our judgments and our points of view about what all of these things are and our judgments of who can and cannot contribute to that. So it's a really, deep dive, as Hank said, into creation and creativity and what's possible there, and engaging with the spirit world on that front. And then same with the money class, because we'll also get into some points of view and clearings around money and who can and can't contribute to greater possibilities there.
Yeah. And I'm going to share something for Magic Mike. When Magic Mike, you noticed that he took Talk to the Entities first before Foundation. And when he had the 2 classes come up, his awareness was, if I take Talk to the Entities first, what I learned there is going to help me pay for everything else. And so that he took Talk to the Entities. Yeah. Well, and I've had that experience too. I think did I share this on the stream last night? Maybe it was this morning. Everything blends together. But there was it was right after her Talk to the Entities class. I had an event in Buffalo, and I was there for like an expo, and I was going down a day early, and I was doing a sound concert. And I'm leaving my house, and I'm talking to Angie on the phone, you're going to be on her radio show from Lilydale. And she's talking to me. She's like, we don't have any signups, but I was feeling all these entities like wanting to go. And I used a tool from the class, like, hey, entities, you want to be in my concert tonight? You got to bring a body with money. And by the time I drove from Cleveland to Buffalo, she's like, oh my gosh, like the registration just started coming in. We sold out. And I added another concert date like after the expo. So like just one example that, it's not just about talking to entities. And for me, the big takeaway was being able to receive from the infinite possibilities around you, whether that's in the way of an awareness of an entity. The Talk to the Entities class did that. And I just want to bring this up. If you go to the emergencebeing.com/possibility, this is the page that you're going to see. And these are just all the little classes coming up. So like we said, just to give you a visual, the creation with entities, money with entities, introduction and beginning class, it's all there, and you can click and get more information. And as we do more of these live streams, we're going to put like really relevant videos for each one of these on those pages. We're just building up to it. And Magic Mike is joining. He's like, yes. Yeah, he was the one who I was just talking about, who chose Talk to the Entities first, and that helped to subsidize really all the classes he's ever wanted to take with Access. So
how does it get better than that? And just a word on the introduction and beginning, what that's all about. The Talk to the Entities introduction on the 28th of October is a free form introduction. So it will be based on the questions and the energy of the group. Every introduction is totally different and kind of created in the energy of the moment with these tools. And then that is a prerequisite and also included if you choose the Talk to the Entities beginning class. And the beginning class, there's a manual, there's all different topics. We talk about judgments and points of view and things from other lifetimes, and really stepping into having all of our capacities available for clearing, communicating, receiving, ding, receiving, and cooperating, which is a whole new topic to explore there. So it's a really, really fun class. The prerequisite that's additional for the beginning class is access consciousness bars, because we will be doing a lot of using of this clearing statement, and having that basis in the class is really helpful for people and their bodies. And you can also run bars during class, like
Oh,
there'll
yeah,
be
I was about to
massage
say that.
tables there. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's whenever we've had like one of the bigger access classes, whether it's foundation or of course a body class or whatnot, we always have tables set up in the back, and you can be gifting and receiving body processes, whether it's bars or there's other ones that you learn in other classes. But you're not only getting the class, but you're also having the body being contributed to from
Yeah.
another person in the class and vice versa. So like it's all around, like it's such a
Mm.
contribution for the body and the being and beyond. And receiving. I just can't harp on that enough, whether it's from talk to the entities or anything else. Like our number one issue in this world is we have been taught not to receive. We've been taught not to
Totally.
receive. In fact, well, you can receive, but it's only from the one person that is called your spouse, and like you can't receive from anybody else ever. So like we're like conditioned in like society and everything that it's not even appropriate to touch in our society other than like a handshake, maybe a hug, but to like fully receive and just be able to be with someone, they kind of frown on that. I wonder if that was intentionally done in our society. There's other cultures that's not
Yeah.
even in their awareness. So it is a cultural thing that's been kind of projected onto us and kind of has mucked us up a little bit with our ability to receive.
I know. I mean, that's something that I've been, looking at lately too, is like, how many points of view have we bought about what receiving is and what it isn't? I mean, this is like, we could explore this for days, but it's like we get all these really erroneous points of view. And, um, what if you could have an awareness of what receiving truly is for you and your body? And what would that be like?
And everything that doesn't allow that, destroy it, uncreate it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot of pop, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. It's truly like receiving has been a big theme for me, especially in the last month. And I had
Mhm.
a whole experience where I just was in the space and I really received from everything around me. And it was completely different than any point of view or thought I had prior to that point. I thought I was receiving before then, but no. It was like a whole nother level of
Yeah.
receiving from everything around me. And I would just tell people, be the invitation. Like, what would it take for me to have a new awareness around receiving that I've never had before? And just kind of put that question out. And maybe, just maybe, the universe is going to deliver to you an experience that just blows you out of the water, like I got blown out of the water. And I was like, whoa. I thought I knew what it was about, but man, I was an idiot. Like that,
I
not really,
know.
but it could totally change my whole look. Well, like I wonder what else I am aware of that I haven't acknowledged yet. That's going to be another moment like this where it totally takes my awareness to a whole new level. I didn't even know that I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that I didn't know. I didn't even know that I didn't know. And all that brings up in that time, destroy and uncreate, and for everybody else out there too. Like what would it take for you to be curious enough to be the invitation to bring in stuff that you don't know about and be okay with learning something new and experiencing something new, and everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh yes, I can feel it. I can feel it charging and dissipating. And even we got people even commenting as we're doing it now. Yes, yes, yeah. If you're out there and you're just kind of nodding your head, if you give like a legit yes, maybe it's going to create more, maybe not. See, you're listening to the stream, so part of you is saying yes because you're here. But actually consciously saying yes to a clearing statement, I believe it invites a little bit more. Unless you're totally zoned out in a class and it's like my presence is my yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful how this clearing statement can work even when you're playing it on a loop while you sleep.
Yes. So I know we're just excited to stream again because we
I
had such a
know.
break. Like
I
we
know.
plan to do 15 minutes 20. We're at like approaching the 40-minute mark now. How you feeling, Heather? Was there anything that you feel is there any awareness or clearings or information you feel is really percolating to your thoughts that really needs to be a part of the stream? Are we in a good space? Unless people ask a question. If you ask a question,
I
we're,
know a question can open the door to a totally different possibility. Well, I just love to say for everyone that was on the free event last night, thank you so much for your choice to be there and for your energy and your questions, either asked out loud or energetically. It was so much fun. And what did we create with all of that that we haven't been willing to receive?
yeah. And even on these streams, I was floored at some of the questions that were asked. Like we went into some really deep, meaty topics for a taster class. It was really,
Yeah.
really amazing. And the same thing is for these streams. Like if people ask a question, there is so many rabbit holes of possibility that we could go, but you got to open the door. Like we'll talk about
Hmm.
stuff, but if you have something going on in your world, and you can bring a question up around that, we can create, like, you're not the only one having that issue show up, but we could really hone in and do some amazing work even on a little stream like this, for people if you are willing to be vulnerable and ask a question, because Dr. Dain says all the time, anything you can be vulnerable with and share you can heal. It's the things that you hide that really screw you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And I mean, I'm just like on all the other streams, there's just been such an immense space of gratitude. Like, I'm so grateful. Thank you to you. And thank you to everyone who's watching and now and in the future. Super grateful.
Ooh. We do have Valerie just asking a question. I'm already noticing a shift just by asking what's next. I'm so
Mm,
grateful. Well, we're grateful for you putting the tools to
yeah.
use.
Thank you. Yeah. And I love that question. That's what I ask all the time. It's like, okay, what now? What next? Especially from this sense of total space of like, okay, what now? What next? What would be fun now?
And I love that because, like, I just had a reading done from somebody, and one of the cards that came up was like this one that it shows like, oh, you have it all and all that. And I was just thinking, well, if you got it all, then
Mm,
but what's the question to ask? Well, what else could I create now? Is
yeah.
like, we're the only thing that never changes is that everything changes. And if you think you're in a good space and you finally got it figured out, well, maybe proactively say, hey, universe, what's next? Instead of waiting to see what's next, you could be proactive in creating that next possibility instead of seeing what shows up, and really taking the life by the horns, I guess, and really being the driving force in what shows up in your life instead of the passive thing that, instead of reacting through life, what would it be like if you responded and actually chose your life?
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, wow, creation with entities is just really pinging me with that because there's so much we can talk about with, creating your life and allowing the contribution that's actually there and available.
Yeah, there's like an infinite number of things out there that can contribute to you. And what if you're doing it all yourself? Like you're at like negative 1,000% of what you could be receiving.
I
but
know.
but like, what if you could really be the invitation that I will receive it all, please. Don't hold back, universe. I will receive it all and create with it, and create with it, and create with it. Because like
Right.
receiving is one part of it, but then what you receive, what are you doing? You're actually creating more change in the world. More possibility becomes a spiral, because like as entities contribute to you and the unseen world and everything around contributes to you, you're contributing to the world, and it creates this, I don't even have a word for it, but it is a crazy spiral possibility, but now functioning from the kingdom of we. Since I put that in the title, we got
Yeah.
to fit it in
I
instead of the
was gonna
kingdom of
weave it
me.
in here, yes.
We got to weave it all in. And Valerie was just saying, yep, I get stuck cycling in the why. No more. It's what's next from now on, or what else is possible is the actual access phrase. But anything that, here it is, what else is possible? And being in this space, being self first, not selfish. It's not of wrongness. It's like in the airplane, if the little mask falls down, they say, put yours on first, because what if you pass out and they can't help the next person? So really, like, what questions could you be? What could you receive from the universe? And then have more of you to contribute to others. That's what it's really kind of about with the self first versus selfish thing.
Yeah, and I mean, when you put the kingdom of we in the description, I was actually looking at the reference materials of Access Consciousness yesterday. And if you've taken a foundation or choice of possibilities class with Access, you can have access to all these old versions of the manual as it's evolved through the years. And it's like a treasure trove of stuff
It's
in there.
thousands of pages.
Thousands of pages.
I think I maybe have read 1% total of it. It's just so huge.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about a rabbit hole of possibility. It was like when I go in there, I just get lost in it because I'm like, ooh, I've never read this one, or maybe I have, but it just totally reads now. And I found this amazing quote about the kingdom of we. It says, when you function from the kingdom of we, the kingdom of consciousness and oneness, you're asking for everything to be easier for you, but you includes everybody around you.
Oh, I love that. It's like the multiplier effect times a godzillion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and how much do, we exclude ourselves from that receiving?
Yeah, because we're taught as kids, think of everybody else first, right?
Totally.
And I even remember a time like there was like cookies, or I forget what it was, but like you have to offer to everybody else first. And by the time I
Mhm.
did this as a kid, there was nothing left, and then I missed out. So it's kind of like have you ever seen Office Space?
Yeah.
So like Milton with the cake or whatever, like
Yeah.
last time I did receive a piece and he's going around and at the end he's sitting there and he doesn't have his cake. So like what if you made sure you had your cake first, maybe you could be a greater contribution and not set buildings on fire and stuff. I'm just making an Office Space reference. If anybody who's worked in
Brilliant
corporate
movie.
America,
Yes.
the more corporate experience you have, the funnier the movie gets. And I have like over 10
Yes.
years of experience working in banking, including like every job. But oh my gosh, that movie hit home on so many levels. Oh, that would be a good one to run during a bars night, probably.
Oh my gosh, that one would be great. Or the other Mike Judge movie that's actually been recommended in a lot of access classes lately is Idiocracy, which
I
is
haven't seen
such a
that.
brilliant movie. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's going to go on my access to-do list. And for anybody who's local, like we have a bars clinic on the first Thursday. If you do take a bars class, even if you don't want to be a practitioner, we have on the third Thursday of the month, which is if you're local, like that's this Thursday. If you're a bars practitioner, we have a practitioner share. So you can come out and we just swap body processes, whether it's bars or MTVSS, zero sum of trauma, anything that anybody knows you could receive. Oh, a reconnection and communion with the earth. There's so many juicy ones.
Oh yeah.
Biomimetic mimicry, all the places where you recreate your family crap. Oh, like there's no plethora. But here's my point by going down that rabbit hole is if you take a bars class, even if you don't want to be a practitioner and don't have an interest in working with the public, it opens up the door to this community where we're working on each other and we're throwing in a movie and we're playing like clearings in the background, and it really turns into this amazing community. You just have to be a bars practitioner first. So it might just be an investment for you, even if you don't want to do this professionally, that it's going to open up the door to all this other community resources around you. So shameless plug, if you're local, that you can consider that. And if you're not in Cleveland, they have share nights down in Akron too at the Healing Brew LLC. For us, it's at Emergence of Being. There's a ton of different things, and I encourage everybody. It's such a contribution just to know bars, and you can
Oh
run
my
it
gosh. Yeah.
for at people at home. Sometimes you can fall
Kids.
asleep with somebody while you're running a body process. It's like it really opens up the door to possibility if you have these tools.
Oh my gosh, does it ever? I mean, when's the last time that you guys just gave yourself, a couple hours or a whole day to just relax and be nurtured?
Especially the way Heather runs her class. Like I used to run my class the first half, I'm reading out of the manual, doing all this stuff, and then Heather comes to town and she's like, I'm going to show you how it's done, son. Right. And so like an hour in the book video, and then we're on the tables melting. Like
Yeah.
literally. And I
More
think
bars.
the first bar session I received, it was like 3 hours long. And it was just like,
That was
oh,
a
this
juicy
is so
class.
amazing. And then I really got what Andrew said. Like Andrew Gardella, who's like one of the big body people in Access and used to do the Voice of America show. He said that when he was like traveling a lot, he would just look up where a bars class was, and he would sign up
Yeah.
and go to the bars class, because you're going to get your bars twice, run it twice, give it twice. He's like, it would cost me more to get, go pay for sessions, and because once you take the class once, it's half price after that. And so like he would just go and, as he's traveling, just get these bars classes, really with the idea, I'm just nurturing the body and I'm doing it at a bargain price, and it's like being there as a contribution too, because he has all this space holding from his access knowledge and stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, that's like,
what happened to my camera?
I know.
Crap.
I guess you probably wanted to be on camera. You're talking about like nurturing and
I don't know what's happened there. That's so weird. Okay, let me switch. Entities are fucking with me. Okay, there we go. We'll do
There
this
we go.
instead.
It was so funny because you're talking about like receiving the bars and nurturing, and then it's like your body's like front and center.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was really cool.
No, what
Go
happened is
body.
my I don't know what happened, but like my camera syncs to my phone, and I somehow think I must have touched my phone, and I switched the view or something like that. Now I'm on my computer laptop one. How funny is that? There was one time Casey and I were streaming, and we were talking about entity stuff, and all of a sudden, like we literally switched places on the screen, like not me
Wow.
moving it off and putting them back. We just switched, and so like maybe it was an entity messing with me too. I don't know, but it was really funny. My body wants to be noticed. There we
Yes,
go.
exactly. I was like, wow, like
Well, hopefully you all liked what you see, the better side of me there. But cool. Anything else? Like we've been all over. I love the conversation today. So many different things popping up and getting to
yeah.
talk about a wide array of things. Any final thought? Are you feeling a good space to wrap it up? Or do you like I have nothing on my schedule, so we could also keep going, but I want to be mindful
Yeah.
of your time.
Well, I mean, this is just so much fun. And what can we add to our lives? What can we choose that would create more fun and more joy, more nurturing right away?
Hmm. And everything that doesn't allow us to perceive, know, be, and receive that, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I like how we're kind of teaming up on those clearings now too. That's
I
very flowy.
know.
I like it.
Yeah,
Our streams are evolving, Heather. I don't know
they
where they're
are.
going, but they're wherever it's going, it's good.
Exactly.
And I know this comment was a while back, but we had a little hands up in the air, so I'm going to
Woo!
put it.
Thank
Seems like
you.
it's relevant. I'm sure she's loving this too, even though she commented this some time ago. But cool, awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. These get more and more
Welcome.
fun. It's like I don't know if I
Yeah.
can. Oh man, like what are the endless possibilities of what we can talk about and contribute to people?
Truly. Yeah. How does it get more fun than this?
We will
Woo!
find out. Oh, we got another comment. It's all good stuff. Thank you so much. You're very
You're
welcome, Valerie.
welcome.
And I apologize. I know you've messaged me. I do have my concert coming up 4th Friday, and we just got to pick a time for you to come into the center. She's going to be doing some work out of the center and having some classes and stuff. So looking forward to her being a contributor and also maybe joining the
Awesome.
Access family because it sounds like she's very interested.
Yeah. There's you guys have a bars class coming up, don't you, this month?
It's going to be in early October because we didn't get our we allowed ourselves to be distracted by other fun things, so we just gotta recommit to it. We never even posted it yet, so like
Okay.
it, yeah. But we will have one earlier in October, and then we're hoping that a lot of our family comes to that, like kind of
Cool.
like a friends and family, but also open to everyone thing. But having like a lot of the people close to us in our lives to take that class, because if you can go home at night and you had a bad day, if everybody in your house knows how to run bars, what contribution can that
Miracle.
be? Yeah,
Yeah.
truly.
Total miracle. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and it's really fortunate that I have so many people in my life that we do bars and we do access that if you run into a problem, you're there processing. And even like some people in my life that weren't as into all this stuff have started suddenly opening up to it and having conversations where we're doing processing work or energy work. It's really amazing. And Valerie was just saying, no worries, it's all in the right timing. We will meet up soon. Cool. You'll be at the sound bath. Awesome. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah,
Cool.
and everybody, you can find out about all these things at emergencybeing.com. But if you put the / possibility in, that is specifically the things that is being hosted at Emergency Being with Heather. And there's a couple things missing. Like there's
Yay.
going to be a cool body process class specific to do. Well, why don't you talk about that? Because this is a
There's
really
three body process classes. There's three. We're really like getting in a lot of juicy stuff that weekend. There's the bars. I'll be
right.
facilitating the bars. Beautiful, nurturing, relaxing. You've been to 100 bars classes, or if it's your first one, come play, come have fun. Or there's a special body process class on Saturday night, a 3-hour class, and you'll get to exchange a body process that is designed to unlock things that have been done to control you. So if you'd like to be out of control, maybe have more fun, that process can contribute. And then there's the facelift class on the Monday after Talk to the Entities, which is not just about your face. It's about shifting the energies that limit you from truly showing up as you. And it's an amazing body process that contributes to your whole body. And it's really beautiful.
Yeah, and there's so many energies that run in that class. I literally
Yes,
melted on the table, and I was like, "Oh!" And I think I've taken it twice now, just because it was so good. I pulled an
it's
Andrew. I'm
so
like,
good.
"I'm going to another one, so I can just get this run twice."
Yep.
And yeah, and then yeah, I think that's it. And then after, well, there's a couple things after that will be virtual too, but we can announce it. We don't want to give people too much stuff right now.
Information overload.
It is. It's TMI. TMI. But probably a good note to wrap up on. Thank you, everyone, for showing up
Yeah,
and
thank you
staying
guys.
present. And what about a final clearing, Heather, to set the tone for our outro video?
Mm. What would be nurturing and fun and a contribution to you and your body that you've never considered, that if you would be aware of it and choose it, would change everything for you and open the door to possibilities beyond anything you could ever imagine? And everything that doesn't allow you to perceive no be and receive that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Please be a contribution to us and be the invitation for other people to find our material. Take a moment to share this on Facebook, to like and comment
Yes,
on the
thank
YouTube channel.
you.
All of that contributes for the algorithm that controls everything to know we're relevant and to share us with more people. So what contribution could,
Control.
yeah, what contribution could y'all be to help spread the contagion of consciousness? And it could be as simple as a like, thumbs up, share, and all that good stuff. So until next time, everyone, thank you so much. Catch you next time.
Thank you.